Hello, everyone, and welcome to the iBUG Cafe. I'm your host, Sree. This is episode 118, and today is March 9th, 2025. Here at the cafe, we typically take an in-depth look at an iOS app, and we have a good one today. And if you couldn't hear anything I just said, we may just have a solution for you. But before we get started, I want to personally say thank you to each of you for attending this cafe in person, and for all those who'll be listening to this cafe either on our website or on our podcast or in our YouTube channel. And if you find any of our videos helpful, please hit the like and subscribe so the next time our very own Julie uploads any of our videos, you'll get notified. Now it's time for me to introduce someone, our very own Sandhya Rao, who loves to turn on her noise cancellation when I'm talking to her. Sandhya, please tell us what is going on here at iBUG today this week.
All right, great. Thank you, Sree. Yes, we have a fairly busy week coming up. So, Monday, all times are central and everything is on this Zoom conference line where you are right now. So, make it easy. For Monday, from 7 to 9, the iBug Buzz, all questions relating to your iPhone and apps and accessories are fair game. Get real-time answers to your many questions. Then, right after that, we have the AfterBuzz, where we just hang out, get to know each other, and we have forbidden topics. And if you want to find out what the forbidden topics are, come for that. Tuesday, mini buzz on from 5 to 6. There we're going to be talking about mainly hardware. If anybody has gotten those beautiful Meta glasses, then that is a fair place for you to come and talk about them, what you're doing with them, what you're having trouble with, all that kind of stuff. And other related or any kind of hardware stuff is for that Tuesday mini buzz call. Wednesday we're off. Thursday is the Vila Book Club. And there we will be starting at 6:30 and the book is called Bury My Heart and Wounded Knee, An Indian History of the American West by D. Alexander Brown, DB 20462. It is a mere 16 hours and 11 minutes, so you got plenty of time to read it between now and Thursday. Then, one of our favorite events is the iBug Night at the Virtual Movies. That will be this Friday, starting at 8 p.m. Audio described tracked only. Then we have some fun at the beginning, 7:15, to hang out, argle wargle, visit with each other, some name that tune, and some bad jokes on top of it all. After the movie, we'll have a discussion and trivia. So that's what's happening this week. And real quick, if you want to find out about these events or the many other, we have about 25 events every month. That's visit the website at ibugtoday.org, ibugtoday.org, and register. Register, and then you'll get personal notifications of all of these cool events, and all of our services are absolutely free. Thank you, Sree. Taking it back to you.
All right, Sandhya. And by the way, Sandhya, you don't put the noise cancellation when I'm talking to you, do you?
Huh?
Uh, that's what I thought. All right. Now it's time for everyone to introduce yourselves. I've got a very easy icebreaker question for you. And it's simply, what is your favorite Bluetooth headphones? And if you're like Brad or Marty and you got 10 of those, I just want to hear one of them, your favorite. Let me know who you are, where you're calling from. And if this is your first time here at the cafe, please let me know so I can acknowledge you.
Terry from Arlington Heights, and my favorites are the bone conduction shocks.
Welcome, Terry.
This is Deb from Kansas. My favorites are the Beat Flex.
Welcome, Deb.
Thank
Sarah in Vermont. And I think I glued the AirPods too to my ear, my right ear. So that should be my favorite.
I guess they're not coming off then.
Nope.
Robert, Arizona, AirPods 2.
Welcome, Robert.
Louise, Atlanta. I suppose the new AirPods 2 has become my favorite.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
John B. Canada.
Welcome, John. Go ahead.
Bose Frames Tempo.
Okay, welcome.
This is David, NC 700 from Bose.
All right, welcome.
This is Kenny. I like the AfterShokz as well as the Meta glasses.
All right, welcome.
This is Pete from Jacksonville. I've got the AirPods Pro 2.
All right, welcome, Pete.
This is Vincent in New Jersey, X Beats Pro.
Welcome, Vincent.
Thank you. Both.
Hey, welcome, Julie.
Thanks.
This
Hey,
is
who's
Kelly
that?
from Texas. I think the AirPods Pro.
Hey, welcome.
This is Helene from Arizona, and when they work well, the aftershocks are the best.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, Sree, this is George, and I really don't have a favorite Bluetooth because I haven't found one that serves both me sounding good talking on them as well as listening to music on them.
Well, hopefully after today, we may surprise you. Welcome,
Yes,
George.
sir.
Debbie from Chandler. I have the Bose Quiet Comfort just for headphones, and then I like my Meta glasses.
Hey, welcome.
Mary Linda from Georgia, and I use my hearing aids.
All right, welcome.
This is Ladon from Garland, Texas, and I like the Bose earphones that I've had for about 10 years.
Welcome.
My name is Bonnie Roth, and I'm from Spokane, Washington. And I was given AirPods at the ACB convention, and somebody helped me pair them, and I just couldn't hear well enough with them. So I don't have anything
Right.
at this
And
point.
Bonnie, is this your first time here at Cafe?
It is not, but I'll be joining you this week also with the Meta glasses. I think it's my second or third time.
Okay, well, welcome.
Thank you.
Innie from Iowa, and my favorite AirPods Pros, second generation. Thank you.
All right, welcome.
Good afternoon, Sree. It's Shazadi from St. Catharines, Canada. This is my first time here. I was recommended by John from CNIB. He told me about you guys, and my favorite AirPods are AirPods Pro second generation.
All right, great.
Thank you.
This is Desi in Franklin, Tennessee. My favorite AirPods are my still fairly new AirPod Pro 2.
Welcome, Desi.
Hey.
This is Ned from Texas, and I use my hearing aids.
All right, welcome, Ned.
Linda from Texas, AirPods.
And welcome, Linda.
Marty from Bensalem, PA, AirPods Pro 2.
All right, welcome, Marty.
All right, Shree.
Go ahead, Bridget.
Oh, from Atlanta, None.
Do you have a pair of Bluetooth headphones that you like to use?
Well, I have some. I've been having them for like going on 2 years, but I'm kind of scared to use them because they will fall out and I will lose them somewhere. So I use my old ones that I stick in the phone. I like them better.
All right, that's perfectly fine. All right, welcome.
Janice from Maryland. I use Bose Sport earbuds, and they're tethered together, so if one falls out, I can find them.
And welcome, Janice. Sandhya, how about you?
I use the AirPods a little bit, sometimes my wired ones, and then sometimes hearing aids. So 3 different combinations.
All right, well.
Thank you.
And was there anyone else that was a first-time caller here at the cafe?
Kim.
Kim, welcome.
Yes, hi, I'm Kim. I live in Manhattan, and I'm actually a lifetime hearing aid user, and so I'm always asked questions, so I'm curious.
Okay, and how did you hear about the iBUG Cafe?
Through the Sight and Sound International group with ACB, American
Okay,
Council
great.
for the Blind.
Great, welcome. All right, going once, going twice, 3 times. This is Sree Roy. I'm from Virginia, and my favorite is the Beats Flex also. Today's presentation is broken into 2 parts. The first part is about 26 minutes, and the second part is about 19 minutes. So now it's time for me to introduce my presenter all the way from UK, Carla Savage. Not only I heard she sings really well, but you will hear how well she explains today's presentation. So Carla, would you like to say anything before we get started?
Hi there. Yeah, I really enjoy using the AirPod Pro 2, which are the headphones that I'm going to talk about today, and several reasons. They sound great and they're comfortable, but also I can use them as hearing aids as well. So if I need a backup at any time, I can actually use them as a hearing aid backup, which is awesome, which is why I actually bought them originally. So yeah, I love them. And so I use those, and I do use Meta glasses, but if I want to do some serious listening, I tend to use the iPod Pro 2s. And I hope you enjoy the presentation I've put together. It does go through how to set the iPod Pro 2s up, and also all the settings that you can do, along with setting up them for hearing aids and doing a hearing test. It was a challenge to do, but it was a lot of fun, and I hope you get something out of it today.
So with that, we'll go ahead and get started with the first part of the presentation. Namaste. This is Sree, and welcome to the iBUG Cafe. In today's presentation, we're going to take a look at one of the most popular Bluetooth headphones called the AirPods Pro 2, spelled AirPods Pro, then number 2. And these Bluetooth headphones are manufactured by Apple. And if you're wondering how much do these pair of Bluetooth headphones cost, well, you're going to have to stick around for the second half of our presentation to find out. And if the color matters, Wesley Snipes once said, always bet on black. But I guess he never owned a pair of AirPods Pro 2 because they only come in white. And once you purchase an AirPods Pro 2, what is inside the box? Well, it comes with a pair of AirPods Pro 2, multiple sizes of ear tips, USB-C charging cable, and a USB-C wireless charging case. Let's take a quick look on the timeline on AirPods. The first pair of AirPods was introduced in December of 2016, and the current non-pro AirPods, which are the AirPods 4, was introduced in September 2024. The first pair of AirPods Pro was introduced in October of 2019, and then came the AirPods Pro 2 with the Lightning port, which was introduced in September of 2022. And 1 year later, Apple introduced the AirPods Pro 2 USB-C in September of 2023. And how popular are AirPods in general? Well, Apple has sold more than 150 million different units of AirPods and has made over $14 billion in revenue. Now that I went over some introductions on the AirPods Pro 2 from Apple, it is time for me to introduce my presenter. And I'm so grateful and thankful to have Carla Savage from UK, a first-time presenter here at the cafe, to go over the AirPods Pro 2. Her presentation is broken into 2 parts. In the first half of Carla's presentation, she'll show you how to pair the AirPods Pro 2. She'll explain why she enjoys using these pairs of headphones. Next, how this device can be used as a Bluetooth headphones or a hearing test device. Then she'll go over all the settings and conclude the first half of her presentation by showing us the user experience in running the hearing test. Then we'll open it up for questions and comments. After that, we'll start the second half of Carla's presentation. She'll start off by going over the ear tip fit test, take a look at the accessibility settings. Then she'll show us how to do the audio setup, take a look at the background sounds, mono audio, then headphone notification, and then stereo balance, and then how we can use the control center to control the AirPods Pro 2. After that, she'll demonstrate how she uses the touch controls. And finally, Carla will conclude her presentation by letting us know how much the AirPods Pro 2 cost. After that, once again, we'll open it up for some questions and comments. So this is truly an in-depth look at the AirPods Pro 2. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic to Carla.
Hello everyone, it's Carla. I wanted to discuss today the AirPod Pro 2nd generation. So these are the AirPods that go right inside your ear, and when you get them, they come in a nice little case. They also come with 4 different sizes of ear tips that you can put on your AirPods to have a really good seal when you put them in your ears. And once charged, they're very easy to pair. I literally took them out the case, popped them in my ears, and my phone connected up to them straight away. There is also a button on the back of the AirPods case should you want to pair them to something else, but they do connect seamlessly to your phone automatically as soon as you put them in your ears. Now, I'm not normally one for earbuds, as I have found my ears get very upset with them in, but what made me choose to buy a set of AirPod Pro 2nd generation? I didn't know, and I found out by watching a YouTube video that you could use these as hearing aids. Now, as I wear hearing aids, this was going to be a useful thing for me because there are times that I just want to listen to my music, but I don't always want to listen to my music on hearing aids because my hearing aids really don't sound great with music. They lack bass, so therefore the AirPod Pros would be a good choice for that. The other plus to having the AirPod Pros is that, as I said, because you can use them as a hearing aid, effectively, if you didn't want to have the standard hearing aids in, I could put my AirPods in and use them for a little while at least. I would only get a maximum of 5 hours, but at least it would be enough to get me by should I need to. I'm going to run through the settings of the AirPod Pros to explain what all of these settings mean. And also, I'm going to cover how to set up your AirPod Pros as hearing aids. My AirPod has activated. I've gone into my settings.
Setting.
If I flick to the right from the start of settings, I come to a Carla's AirPods Pro. I'm going to double tap on this.
Carla's AirPods Pro button.
Now I am at the beginning of this little section, and it now tells me how much charge I have in each AirPod and also how much I have in the case.
Left earbud 90%. Right earbud 90%. Case.
First off, we can name our AirPods, and you double tap on the name of the AirPods. Mine is called Carla's AirPod Pro 2. And if I double tapped on that, I am then presented with a text field where I could put an alternative name in, and then I would flick to the done button, and there my AirPods would then be renamed. We get to noise control.
Name. Carla's AirPod. Noise control. Heading. Off button. Selected. Transparency button 2 of 4.
Mine is set to transparency, and I'll come back to that in a minute. The choices are off, transparency, adaptive, and noise cancellation. So if it's set to off, that means that there is no noise cancellation whatsoever. Transparency is the one where you can hear your outside environment being pumped into the AirPod Pros. Adaptive is where your AirPod Pros will adapt to the environment that it is in, so therefore it will change your volume level accordingly. And noise cancellation is where you shut out the world outside and just have an immersive listening experience. We now come to a section titled Hearing Health. Your AirPods Pro 2 support a clinical grade hearing aid feature for perceived mild to moderate hearing loss. Using your iPhone or iPad, you can take a hearing test with your AirPods Pro 2, or you can use an existing hearing test result, for example, an audiogram from your hearing healthcare professional. Your AirPods Pro 2 can use the results of your audiogram to adjust sounds to match your unique ability to hear. AirPods Pro 2 also help minimize your exposure to loud environmental noise across noise control modes with active hearing protection. The hearing aid, hearing test, and hearing protection features are not available in all countries and regions. For the best experience, clean your AirPods Pro 2 regularly. Take a hearing test with your iPhone or iPad. Before you begin, make sure you are in a quiet room. The test takes about 5 minutes. Wear your AirPods Pro 2 and make sure they're connected to your device. So to start this, go to Settings on your iPhone or iPad and double tap on the name of your AirPods. Then you need to go to Take a Hearing Test, and this can be found under the Hearing Health section that we're discussing now. You then follow the on-screen instructions. If asked, find a quieter space or adjust the position of your AirPods. If you've made several adjustments to the position of your AirPods in your ears, you may need to use different sized ear tips before you can start the test. What happens is, when you go and do the test, you will start the test and it will do a little check to make sure that you've got a good seal in your ears before it begins. It also checks your environment as well. So if you're in anywhere that is particularly noisy, you won't be able to do the hearing test and you need to find a quieter space. Now, although I have had a hearing test done by a healthcare professional as I wear hearing aids, I didn't have access to my audiogram. So I decided that when we finally got the hearing test availability in the UK, I would take one. When I started it, it did the check with the environment and also my ear fit test to make sure that there was no sound leakage anywhere and that I would be in a sufficiently quiet environment to do the test. Once I double tapped on start the test, I was played a series of tones in each ear.
they gradually went up in pitch. So what happened was you'd get a series of one note played 3 times in succession, and then it would move up the scale. And as soon as you heard the note, you would have to double tap on the screen. This is actually accessible with VoiceOver, so I had no problem completing the hearing test. It started and did each ear in turn. Once it was done, I was able to save it, and the AirPod Pros could then use it with the transparency mode. It also gets saved in your health profile. I have actually taken another hearing test and done a screen recording of the whole thing, so you'll get an idea of what it sounds like.
Hearing health heading. Take a hearing test button. Cancel. Test your hearing heading. Hearing loss is common and can get worse over time. A 5-minute test can identify if you have hearing loss. Note: if you've experienced a sudden change in your hearing, you should talk to a doctor. Only a healthcare professional can diagnose hearing loss. Get started button. Some details heading. This information is not shared with anyone, including Apple. Are you 18 or older? Heading. Selected. Yes. No. Are you currently experiencing allergies, a cold, or infection in your ears or sinuses? Heading. Yes. No. Selected. No. Have you been in a loud environment like a concert or construction site in the last 24 hours? Heading. Yes. No. Selected. No. Next button. Next. In progress. Dimmed. Find a quiet place where you can focus and take the test. Heading. Too much background noise can cause inaccurate results in your test. Show suggestions to reduce noise. Button. Next button. Place your AirPods in the correct ear. Heading. Having your right AirPod in your right ear and left in your left ear can help with test quality. If you wear hearing aids, make sure you remove them first. Next button. Adjust the position and depth of each AirPod until the fit is snug but comfortable. Heading. A good fit is required to ensure accurate test results. Learn more. Button. Next button. AirPods will check the fit in each ear and measure background noise. Heading. Music will play during the check. This is not the hearing test. Start the check. Button. Start the check. Do not remove AirPods. Next, don't remove or adjust your AirPods until you finish the hearing test. The fit is good and it's quiet enough to test your hearing. Heading. Don't remove or adjust your AirPods until you finish the hearing test. Next button. Do not disturb will be on during the test. Heading. This helps prevent distractions. The hearing test will take about 5 minutes. Next button. The test will play tones at different volumes and frequencies. Heading. Each tone will pulse 3 times. Play sample. Next button. During the test, listen carefully and tap the screen once when you hear a tone pulse. Heading. Next button. It's okay if you miss a tone. You'll have another chance to hear it. Heading. Start test button. Starting test. Your left ear is first. Double tap the screen when you hear a tone. Left ear done. Right ear is next. Next button. Double tap the screen when you hear a tone. Test complete. These results have been saved to Health for your records. Show results button. Hearing test results heading. Left ear moderate loss. Right ear moderate loss. Your test indicates moderate hearing loss. Show details button. Understanding hearing loss. Learn about how your hearing can change. Show article button. Done button.
Let's now discuss active noise cancellation, ANC. Change the press and hold action on AirPods Pro and AirPods 4 ANC. AirPods Pro and AirPods 4 ANC have 3 noise control modes: active noise cancellation, transparency mode, as well as adaptive audio. You can also turn noise control off. By default, when you press and hold the force sensor on the stem of your left or right AirPod, your AirPods switch between active noise cancellation and transparency mode. You can change which noise control modes the press and hold action uses. If both AirPods are set to change noise control modes, a change to the press and hold action settings on one AirPod applies to both. To set press and hold action to use Sree, you would tap on the left or right, then select Sree. You can have one AirPod set for Sree and the other set to change noise control modes. You can also switch between noise control modes in the control center.
Press and hold AirPods heading. Left noise control button. Right noise control button. Call controls. Heading. Answer call. Press once. Button. Mute and unmute. Press once. Button. End call. Press twice. Button.
And I can customize these if I wish.
Audio. Heading. Personalized volume. Adjusts the volume of media in response to your environment. Switch button. Off.
Then you have
Conversation awareness. Lowers media volume and reduces background noise when you start speaking to other people. Switch button. On.
That's really useful if you are listening to something on your phone with your AirPods in and somebody wants to have a conversation with you. As soon as they start speaking, then the volume of your media reduces down and you can have a very comfortable conversation when you've got transparency mode on your AirPods.
Loud sound reduction. Reduces loud sounds you are exposed to. Switch button. Off.
That I've turned off. It still actually does react though, so there is still a slight reaction, even though I have turned this feature off.
The reason why I turned that off is because if I'm out and about in the environment, I want to hear absolutely everything that comes into the AirPods from the outside, including extremely loud noises, so that I'm aware of what's going on. What the AirPods do is when a loud sound comes in, like traffic, a big, as we say in the UK, lorry, you say in the US, truck, comes along and thunders past you, the AirPods will react accordingly and turn the microphones down so that you hear a lot less of it. But the problem with that is that if I'm using my long cane and I've got AirPods in, of course then you lose your spatial awareness because you've then lost all the sounds around you, including any echoes from buildings, etc. And that's why I've turned mine off. So you might, if you were a commuter, for example, commuting on train or tube or, as you say, subway over there, you might want to have yours switched on, thereby reducing any noisy environments around you to a comfortable level.
Automatic ear detection. Switch button. On.
By default, AirPods sense when they're in your ear and receive audio from your device. AirPods also pause and resume playback when you remove one of your AirPods or stop playback, and won't resume when you remove both. When you have automatic ear detection on and you aren't wearing your AirPods, audio will play through your device's speakers. When you turn off automatic ear detection, these features are off and all audio is played to your AirPods whether or not you're wearing them.
Connect to this iPhone automatically button. Automatically transfer the audio route from connected devices to the AirPods when they are placed in your ears. Spatial audio. Heading.
And you can personalize spatial audio. I haven't done that. There's a see and hear how it works, so you can play around with spatial audio if you wish.
There are two buttons when you go into the spatial audio. Stereo, and if you double tap that, you will hear what's being played in stereo. And then spatial audio, where you will hear it in more of a 3D sound.
Microphone. I've got that set to automatic. You could have it always on the left, always on the right. I've got mine set to both AirPods. So if I just happen to use one, which I quite often do, then it will automatically switch that mic.
The next little section is called head gestures. This allows you to move your head up and down or side to side to accept or decline calls that come in, or to interact or dismiss announced notifications without speaking or using your hands. I've got my head gestures on. You can change the button accept, reply, and that's set to up and down head gesture movement. Decline and dismiss, that's assigned to side movement. There is a try head gestures button, so you can have a little experiment to see whether you like it or not.
Enable charging case sounds. I've got mine set to on.
I want to know when I plug my AirPods in that they are charging, so therefore it will make a ding sound when I plug my AirPods in, and so that you know that charging is in progress.
And the battery charge is optimized, which helps with battery aging.
Then you have FindMy network. That adds the AirPods to the FindMy feature so that you could either find the AirPods on a map if you have enough sight to see, or you can also use the FindMy to play a sound if you drop an AirPod, which I have to say is very effective. I did use FindMy once, and it was very interesting because it was pretty accurate actually. So it did tell me at least where my AirPod case was. So it is a useful feature to have on, even if you can't see them on screen.
This will be a good place to take a pause for our first half of our presentation. We'll now open it up for some questions and comments. We don't use the raise hand feature here, so all you need to do is to state your name and I'll call upon you. I will kindly ask that everyone else stay muted till the conversation comes to an end. And if you did ask a question, try and refrain from asking a secondary question so we can give others an opportunity to ask their questions. So at this time, Julie, if you can unmute everyone and just state your name and I'll call upon you and focus your question onto what Carla covered in this part of the presentation.
This is Pete.
Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Carla, great job. Good to hear your voice again. You went through the Find My at the very end there. I'm wondering, are you going to go into it in any more depth as far as specifically my question relates to if I drop one AirPod? And you mentioned that the sound feature on a dropped AirPod was pretty good. Is it easy to set? And are you going to go into it a little bit more, or is it pretty simple?
I haven't done, and the reason I haven't done is because it's one of those automatic things that are available when you go into the FindMy. And you can double tap and say play a sound. And once you've done that, and then so long as it's not in your ear, you'll be fine. And it will play a very loud sound. So yeah, that's why I hadn't gone into it, because it's one of those automatically set things that you can do if you drop an AirPod and you go into it.
Can you select left or right while you're in the Find My app? I haven't used that lately.
I haven't used that lately either. So that I honestly can't remember, to be fair.
No problem. I'll check it out.
It's been a long time since I've dropped one, so.
Well, you're lucky.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
Who's next?
This is Ladon.
Go ahead, Ladon.
Yeah, I've never wore earbuds because I thought that my ears would not be very comfortable with them stuck in my ear all the time. And so I wonder how different the feel is to your ear, and can you wear them for long periods of time and still your ears be comfortable? I'm afraid of that.
I have reacted to earbuds in the past. So I had the same sort of trepidation that you did, to be honest. And in actual fact, I was pleasantly surprised with these. The silicone tips that come with them seem to be really quite nice. So in actual fact, they don't seem to be as aggressive as some ear tips that you can buy in other sort of cheaper earbuds. So it might be worth, if you feel that you want to give this a go, then, I must admit, I've been pleasantly surprised when I've been wearing these.
Thank you.
This is Sarah.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Hi, Carla. Thank you. When you said that you set the AirPods on stereo, but when you only wear one AirPod, you sort of like, I think you flew by that, or maybe I just misheard. When you wear only one AirPod, what happens? Does it just go mono?
Yes.
Or okay. I just want to clarify.
It's an automatic thing. It automatically monos it for you. You don't miss anything out of the audio.
That's good to know, because I've put it on mono before, and I guess I don't have to.
No, you don't.
So thank you.
No problem.
All right, thank you. Was that Dan?
It's Dan, yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, Carla, great presentation. When you put it in transparency mode and you're dealing with GPS, can you easily hear the beacons and use that effectively?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Who's next? Any questions on what Carla covered in this part of the presentation? Carla, I did have a question. When you did the hearing test, I know the voiceover said tap once. I'm assuming we tapped 2 times. Is that correct with voiceover?
We do indeed, yes.
Okay. And was it pretty responsive with the double tap? It gave you enough time to double tap itself?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is Deb.
Yeah, go ahead, Deb.
So, Carla, that was a great presentation. When you, in that hearing test, do you just double tap on the 3 beeps, or do you have to do it for each one of those 3 beeps? That's what I was wondering. Just once for each.
Once.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
just once for each signal.
Thank you.
Some part of it, I could not hear anything. I'm assuming the tone was very, very low at those times, correct?
Yeah, very.
This is Annie.
Go ahead, Annie.
Thank you, Carla. That was wonderful. Great presentation. My question is, I think I missed it. What mode I need to set it on when I don't want people to hear the noise? Not me, but to block the noise.
So the noise from the AirPods, people won't generally hear it, to be honest. There's not much sound leakage at all, unless you have it on very loudly. But, people generally can't hear what you're listening to in your AirPods.
So just so we're clear on your question, is it when you have the AirPods on, or are you talking about like the transparency or the other different modes?
Transparency.
The transparency, okay.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, people can't hear the transparency that you've got it on. So yeah, it doesn't disrupt anyone else. All it will do, and I will cover it in the second half, but it just pulls the sound in to you. So no one else hears it.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
That's Paul.
Go ahead, Paul.
Very nice job, Carla. I had done that test before, and it was quite easy to do, and you did a great job of explaining it. And it's not anything to be intimidated by. It's quite nice.
Yes, I agree. Definitely worth doing as well.
Yep. All right, who's next?
This is Terry.
Go ahead, Terry.
I was intrigued by the fact that I could hear most of the tones now, maybe, and I don't have my phone turned up, real loudly or anything. I don't know if that means anything, probably not, but I was just kind of surprised that how well I could hear most of the tones and even the real high pitched ones. So I guess I feel kind of good about that, but ultimately that maybe doesn't mean anything. In order to do it properly, you really do have to take the test, and you have to set your volume of your phone at a certain level, or how does that work?
It automatically sets it for you, so it's automatically set at its level it thinks that it needs to test your hearing for. So I believe that the volume set level is 50%, and that's what it will go with. So yeah, and then it'll get an accurate or a reasonable accurate picture of, whether you have any hearing loss from there. And you will be able to see more results. I didn't go into the detail, but you can really go into the detail should you need to see whether there's any change.
Fascinating. Thank you.
This is Pete.
Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
Carla, I'm curious, how did you mic the hearing test? Did you use a microphone or did you just run it through your mixer?
No, I actually use screen recording.
It picks it up. Excellent.
Yep.
Outstanding. Thank you very much.
That is our secret.
Indeed.
That's a very good feature. Now, Carla, I would assume that it's a different experience when you actually have the headphones on than running the test versus us hearing it, correct? Or is it this? Yeah.
It's pretty, you would, when you have the hearing test running in the headphones, obviously what you're hearing now is in mono, but what you'll be hearing in the hearing test will be stereo through your headset, through your AirPod Pros.
Plus, you won't hear any of the outside noise like we're hearing now.
No, that's right, because noise cancellation is also switched on.
Anyone else got a question?
This is John.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Yes, Carla, you mentioned the FindMy feature. Does it only apply to the AirPods or does it also apply to the case?
It does apply to the case. In fact, the other day I went out and took my phone with me and left my AirPods, and I had a notification to say your AirPods have been left behind because they were sat in the case. So it does know that you haven't got the case with you.
We could maybe come up on the Monday call to see if it actually plays the sound or not. I think that's what you're asking, John, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is John again.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
I know you said one question, but I just wanted to ask, for the screen recording, did you have to adjust your voiceover volume so that it wouldn't be too loud or too quiet during the screen recording?
No, I left my voiceover volume exactly where I normally have it.
All right. Any other questions?
I have a question. This is Bonnie.
Go ahead.
Hi, thanks. So I'm just curious. So if you have hearing aids, did the tests pretty much come out to how your tests come out with your hearing aids from an audiologist?
There is a difference because audiologist tests are much, much more in depth than what you're getting there. So they will cover more frequencies, more of the bass range, which in actual fact for me is the range that I have the most hearing loss in. And so, yeah, it's much more in depth if you go to an audiologist, but this would get you by. So if ever you were in doubt and you thought, oh, maybe I need to do this just to check, I would say you're not going to lose anything by checking and taking the test.
And this works out pretty well for you because those I have moderate hearing loss in both ears, and the iBuds I got at the ACB conference, it just didn't seem to be loud enough. Maybe we just didn't do something right when we paired them. But you would say this is pretty accurate. You could use these buds to listen to a book or something, even in a noisy environment. Do you think?
Yes.
I'm just wondering the accuracy of them.
Yeah, I mean, I've even used them, and this might help you and put it into perspective. I've even used them to navigate. I took my hearing aids out and I put them on transparency mode and I navigated home from work with them in. And I did it just for a test to see whether I could do it. And I could. And I could hear traffic perfectly.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it's worth doing the test, going through the whole process and see what you can get out of them.
Thank you so much. And then my last question, is there help for someone to do the hearing test? Is there phone help or some kind of assistance if you kind of are not getting the results you think you should?
I guess you could speak with Apple Accessibility to see what their take is on it. But to be honest, it's worth taking the test and seeing what you get because it's very self-explanatory to do the test in the first place. The difficulty might be is understanding the results you get. Now, if you were in any doubt, then you might want to take that to an audiologist and say, this is what I'm seeing on my phone. What do you make of that? Should I then pursue proper audiology test? Because this to me looks a little alarming. And to be honest, that's no bad thing. Because if somebody needs to have hearing aids and they didn't realise, this is flagging it up for people so that they get their hearing health sorted much quicker than if they just left it and thought, I haven't got a problem. Because believe me, I've been there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions?
This is Paul.
Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, Carla, I happen to have gotten a formal audiology test shortly after I got the AirPods, and we were able to put in information from that test. I'd done the test first myself and then got the audiology when the formal one, and it can be imported very easily from a formal test. So I just wanted people to know that.
Absolutely, because they usually get it as a PDF from your audiology department. The NHS weren't so inclined for me, unfortunately, so I had to do it the other way. But if you've got that available to you, then by all means do that because you'll get a much more accurate assessment and it will tweak the AirPods accordingly.
Also, if you do call Apple Accessibility, there's probably a chance they may transfer you to the Apple Health group because that's what I've experienced with our devices. They usually transfer me there.
This is Colleen.
Go ahead, Colleen.
I'm sure this is an obvious question, but when you put it in transparency mode, does that mean only one of them works?
No, both of them work. So you get everything in stereo from the outside as well as what the AirPods are delivering to you from your phone.
So does transparency mode turn off noise canceling? Is that what it does?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colleen. Any other questions? All right. Not hearing any, we'll go to the second half of the presentation. Like I said, this is about 19 minutes or so. So, Sandhya, let's go ahead and play the second half.
Accessibility is a button in here. Before we go on to that, there's one little tip I've got. Ear tip fit test. When you get AirPod Pro second generation, I don't know about the first ones, I'm assuming they still did the same. You have a selection of ear tips that you can choose. So you can actually put different ear tips, do a fit test to see what it thinks is the best fit for you. I've actually got the default ones on and they seem to be fine for me. It's all down to getting a good seal around your ear so that you get the maximum benefit from sound. The way that the ear fit test works is that it plays music through the headphones and it will check that there's no sound leakage using the AirPod microphones. Then you have AirPod listening mode, and that's an on-off toggle.
Mine is set to off, but if it's on and you use any of the ANC option, this will help to reduce loud sounds. Then there's About, and you have the model name of your AirPods and model number and serial number and version and all of that good stuff at the end. You can also disconnect the AirPods right at the end there and also forget them should you wish to do that. But we haven't finished here. Let's go back to accessibility and see what's in this. First off,
press speed, heading.
You can set the different speed of how fast or slow you need to click the button on your AirPods.
Selected, default. Slower, slowest. Adjust the speed required to press 2 or 3 times on your AirPods.
I've got mine set to default, and you've got the press and hold duration, and you can set that as well.
Press and hold duration, heading. Selected, default. Shorter, shortest. Adjust the duration required to press and hold on your AirPods.
Noise control.
Noise control, heading. Noise cancellation with one AirPod. Switch button, off. Allow AirPods to be put in noise cancellation mode when only one AirPod is in your ear.
There's been a slight change again on order of things. So now you have turn on loud sound reduction. Then it says AirPods can automatically reduce loud sounds when your AirPods are in transparency or adaptive mode. Then you have a button for iPhone and audio and visual settings. And then you have a little explanation. Then you have another section called spatial audio head tracking. There's a toggle there that says follow iPhone. I've got mine switched off, so this would turn off head tracking and any sound would sound like it's coming out of your iPhone. Why you'd want that, I really haven't worked that out yet. Then you have tone volume. That's adjusting the sound effects played by AirPods. So I've got mine up to full because I want to hear what's going on if I drop an AirPod or anything. Then there's another volume control. The volume swipe is switched on. I obviously want to be able to turn my volume up and down quickly with my AirPods. So that enables you to swipe up and down on the stem of the AirPod to turn your media up and down or phone calls up and down. And you can prevent unintended volume adjustment by selecting either default, longer or longest. So that's that little section, and we will go back to the button that now says iPhone audio and visual settings. So we're now in the section audio and visual. You're presented with a heading of audio. The first button you come to is headphone accommodation. This is a toggle on off. Mine is set to on, and there's a little explanation after that says you can customize the audio for supported Apple and Beats headphones. There's a learn more link. Now I double tapped on the on button of the headphone accommodations. It's taken me into a different screen. So we've got headphone accommodations and it says it's switched on. You can customize settings here. There's a custom audio setup. If I double tap on this button, I can now change some extra settings. I can adjust it for phone calls, movies and music, and you would hear more details in dialogues and songs. Audiogram, and this is where you would add an audiogram if you had one from your hearing healthcare professional. Customized transparency mode, hear more of what's happening around you, and there's a continue button. So I'm going to double tap on this. Would I like to use my latest audiogram? I could double tap on that, but I'm actually going to say don't use audiogram at the moment because I want to show you what the next screen is. So now this is how you would customize your transparency mode and everything here. So again, it says look for a quiet environment before continuing. An audio customization will take about 5 minutes, and the headphones will switch to noise cancellation mode. So here I will listen to someone speaking, then I would have to select the particular volume that feels comfortable for me. Now I couldn't hear that particular person, so I'm just going to say no, I didn't hear it. So I double tapped on the continue button and it asked me the same question again. And again, I could barely hear the person speaking. So I had to double tap on no. I couldn't hear that one either. So then it said, it seems like you find quiet speech difficult to hear, which is true, I do.
So now there's a continue button, which I'm going to double tap on. Now, I've got some music here. I've got 2 buttons that I can select. I've got a version 1 or version 2. Now, I've done this before, so I know what version 1 and 2 sound like. It is difficult to hear voiceover over the top of this music, to be fair, but it is doable. At the moment, version 1 is selected. Now, if I double tap on version 2, it boosts the treble massively, which I don't like. So I'm going to put it back to version 1, which is fine. There's another button on here that says they sound both the same, which they don't to me. Now there's a continue button, but I'm going to click the continue button. Recommended settings. So it said custom is selected. So I can now change from custom or standard. And it says based on your choices, balanced tone has been boosted strongly. You can compare to the standard settings. So I'm reading this from a braille display. So if I click the standard button here, I can really tell that that's different to the custom tone. And I've got so used to the custom tone now, I'm going to pop it back to that. And now I'm going to click the continue button. Now the music has turned off, which is a relief. Now we go on to the next section, customizing transparency mode. Transparency mode helps you hear what's happening around you. We now have the heading of amplification. My amplification is set, it was set to 70%. I've increased it to 80%. This will boost what you hear from the AirPod microphones. That was interesting that mine was boosted to 70%. I'm going to put mine up to 80 just because for the moment. Now you get to transparency balance. This is the amount of balance between your AirPods. Mine is set to 0. You could have, if you swipe down, it puts more transparency to the left AirPod, and if you swipe up, it puts more transparency to the right AirPod. I like it absolutely in between, so I'm going to leave it at 0. Tone. My tone is set to 40% darker. Now what tone does is accentuates either the treble or the bass. Now because my hearing loss is more in the low end frequencies, I've got mine set to a darker tone as I don't need the treble accentuated. If however you did, then you might want to adjust this up. The next heading is ambient noise reduction. Mine is set to 0, so this will adjust the slider to reduce the environmental noise. Now, mine is set to 0, can't go any lower than that. If I went up, then obviously that is going to mean that I will hear less environmental sounds around me in my environment, but I don't want to do that, so I'll leave mine at 0. That could be handy though if you needed a quick fix in a restaurant, for example. Conversation boost is the next button, and that's an on-off toggle. Very useful to have it on because if I'm listening to media and my husband wants to talk to me, then my media will immediately reduce in volume when he's talking to me, which is excellent. No more difficulty getting my attention then. The idea of conversation boost is it makes it easier to hear in a face-to-face conversation. And then there's a done button and a not now button if you've done it before, but I'm going to double tap on the done button. And that is my custom audio setup done. I could use my audiogram should I have wanted to do that. Now we're back to the button that says custom audio setup. So we're going to flick past that now and see what we've got. Tune audio for balanced tone, which is what I want. I could have vocal range or brightness. Balanced tone provides a boost over many different frequencies, which is perfect for me. Level here is set to strong, which is fine for me again, because if you remember when I did the check with the speech, it said I was having difficulty hearing quiet speech, which is absolutely true. Soft sounds will be boosted slightly, moderately or strongly. I can play a sample and I can check what that sounds like by adjusting it if I wish to. And then I've got a heading that says apply with. Now I've applied it with the phone, so when somebody calls me, my conversations will be optimized for phone calls. Media is switched on and transparency mode is also on. And it says about customizing transparency mode, which we've already covered. And that is how you set up your AirPods to become hearing aids.
Now, we've gone back to accessibility, audio and visual, and we covered headphone accommodations and transparency mode. We're going to flick past that now. We know about customizing the audio. Now there's a button that says background sounds. When you double tap on that button, it will play background sounds to mask unwanted environmental sounds. It's also very handy for tinnitus sufferers. I've used it myself when my tinnitus has got particularly bad. You can select from a variety of sounds, and I'm just going to double tap on the button. The sounds that you've got that you can use are stream, and you can adjust the stream volume. The next one is balanced noise. I'm double tapping on the one button here to change it. Bright noise, dark noise, ocean, or rain, or night. Fire. Those are new ones. I haven't seen those before. That's interesting. Let's have fire for a change. And it's just downloading it because I haven't used it before. I'm just going to go back out of there. I can change the sound volume. Once you've adjusted the volume of the background sound you want, you can have it playing when media is playing if you wish. That's an on-off toggle. And you can adjust the volume with media. Mine is set to 20%. You can play a sample of it. There's a switch on-off that says stop sounds when locked. Mine is set to off. I don't want my background sound to stop if I lock my phone. And that's all I have in that little section. So I'm going to come out of there. The next button we come to is mono audio. Mine is set to off. I like my stuff in stereo, but if you have difficulty with that, you might want to select it to mono. Then there's a always show volume control. Mine is set to off, and that will show volume controls on the lock screen for headphones and the built-in speaker. Then there's an add voice isolation, and that will also enhance dialogue. Add voice isolation. Mine is set to off. Adds isolate as an additional option to enhance dialogue. When used, dialogue is completely isolated for people who need maximum clarity. Other elements of the audio mix will be substantially reduced. Then there's a button for power on and off sounds. Mine is switched to on. I want to hear my phone powering on or off. Headphone notifications. Mine is actually set to off because I found mine was triggering so much because I was using transparency mode and all sorts of things. But that's your choice. If you want to be notified when you're in a loud environment, you might want to turn that on. And it says on here, to protect your hearing, iPhone sends a notification if you've been listening to a loud headphone audio for long enough to affect your hearing. I just found it annoying, so I turned it off. Now that I use hearing aids, I don't have that problem. Balance, left-right stereo balance. Mine is set to 0, and you can adjust that. And that's adjusting the audio volume balance between left and right. Add audio in calls, and that's an off button, but you can have that on. And that says any audio from apps along with microphone input will be audible during a call. Muting the microphone will silence all audio. So if you wanted someone to hear your voiceover, I guess that's what you would want to turn on. And then we go on to, for those that need alerts for LED flash for alerts, and that's a button that's mine is switched off because I don't need that, but you could switch that on. And that is the audio visual section. To add to the fact that we can customize our AirPod Pros, become hearing aids, and to be listening devices, you can also go to the control center to turn background sounds on. You can also turn live listen on, and you can also change headphone accommodations from the control center as well if you add it, which is a nice quick fix way if your AirPods aren't giving you the correct volume of transparency, which I've often found to be the case. I've no idea why this happens, but for some unknown reason, my transparency level gets turned down. So let's recap then on the touch control on the AirPods Pro 2. The AirPod Pro touch control on the AirPod Pro 2 is along the stem of each of your AirPods. With the touch control on the stem of both AirPods Pro 2, you can do any of the following. Play or pause audio, press the stem to resume playback, press it again, play the next track, double press the stem, play the previous track, triple press the stem, answer a call. When you receive a call, press the stem, adjust the volume, lightly swipe up or down on the stem. You can also turn on personalized volume to automatically adjust the volume based on listening preferences and your environment. And we've covered this with conversation awareness or personalized volume. You can switch between noise cancellation, transparency, and adaptive audio noise control modes. You can set either of your AirPods to perform action when you press and hold the stem. You can activate Siri. You can set either of your AirPods to perform this action when you press and hold the stem. Use head gestures to respond to Siri. You can accept a call or reply to notifications and messages. Nod your head up and down. You can decline a call or dismiss notifications and messages. Shake your head from side to side. Use head gestures to respond to Siri. Announce calls and announce notifications must be on. So all in all, the AirPod Pro 2s are a great way to be able to have a backup system in place if you need to use them as hearing aids, as they are over-the-counter grade hearing aids. Also, for those that are just on the cusp of needing hearing aids and are not quite sure whether hearing aids are going to benefit you, this is an ideal entryway of learning whether hearing aids will benefit your lifestyle. They're also really cool headphones too, and very nice and easy to slip in your pocket. So there's so much here you can customize with these. I checked the price of Apple AirPod Pro 2s, and in the US it costs $249 in the Apple Store. You could also buy it over 6 months for $41.50 a month for 6 months. You can get them in a number of places, including Apple, Target, Walmart, Costco, Amazon, to name but a few. In the UK, it costs £229, and you can get them from Apple, Argos, Currys, John Lewis, and Amazon, to name a few in the UK. So I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of the AirPod Pro 2 headphones and the amazing qualities that these headphones really do have that benefit everyone, including those of us who have hearing difficulties.
This concludes our presentation on the AirPods Pro 2. Once again, we're going to open it up for some questions. Remember, we don't use the raise hand feature. Just state your name. I'll call upon you, and I just kindly ask that everyone else stay muted, and you can ask any questions about what Carla covered in her first and second half of her presentation.
This is Ladon.
Go ahead, Ladon.
Yeah. That you said it was easy setup, but it seemed like a lot of setups to me. But when you put the pods in for the very first time, then you go to settings, and is that where you find all those settings?
Yes, you go to your settings, and there will be, once your AirPods have paired automatically, you will see your AirPods showing up in the settings. Once double tap on that, then you get to all those settings, and there's a whole bunch of them, as you heard, which you can customize if you wish, but you don't have to. If you're happy with the way they're sounding, great, go for it.
Also, what and where is the stem?
So the AirPods are round and they fit in your ear, and the stem sticks out the bottom. It's just a short little stem thing that sits in sort of the crook of your ear as such, and that's what it is, has got the controls on it.
Also, Carla, on the settings, is it settings inside Bluetooth, or is there settings within settings itself?
It's settings within settings itself.
Okay.
This is Greg.
We'll go to Dan, then Greg.
Okay, Carla, you ran through the commands for the stem button. Where does someone find those commands to review them?
So it is right at the it's within the settings. When you look through, you'll find them under sort of noise cancellation and that kind of thing. The play pause and stuff isn't anywhere, would you believe, in settings that you can check with the Apple support. And if you actually search for Apple AirPod Pro 2 commands in the search for in Apple support, they will give you all the commands that you can do on your AirPod Pro 2 stem.
Okay, thank you.
Also, I do believe if you go to your Bluetooth and find the AirPod and go to more info, select that, there are some settings there for enabling noise cancellation or transparency mode.
There may well be, but that might just be a switch on toggle. You wouldn't necessarily be able to do the customize, but you can also find noise cancellation and transparency mode in the control center as well. So you've got a number of options of where to find it.
Yeah, good point. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, when I've done the fit test, I've done it several times and I've tried different size tips. Is the music supposed to stop when I have a good fit? Because I've never received any kind of cue saying that you have a good solid fit.
It should do. Yeah. I mean, you might want to try again and just twizzle the AirPod Pro 2s in your ear to make sure that you do get a good fit. Sometimes you just have to gently twist them to make sure that they're seated far enough in your ear so that you can potentially get a good seal. And then you should get the result come back that whether you've got a good fit or not.
So if it's a good fit, the music should stop?
Technically, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Who's next?
This is John.
Go ahead, John.
I have a follow-up question to Greg's inquiry. Like, can you mix and match the tips if, let's say, one ear needs a small one and another one needs a medium one?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can easily remove the tip and then just put a different one on if you think that'd be more comfortable for you. Yes.
Good question. Any questions that we covered on today's presentation? Go ahead.
Have they done some more tweaking to the head nodding? Because when they first started that, it didn't seem to work for me
It's
to
not.
answer a call.
Yeah, it's something that I don't really use particularly because I always forget, basically. But yeah, I believe they have sort of tried to refine it a little bit with things like head tracking and stuff. So I think when you get the various iOS updates, and the firmware updates in the AirPod Pro 2s, they do seem to tweak it. So it's always worth, plugging your AirPods in and letting them update, which they will do automatically anyway when you plug them in. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Mm-hmm.
This is Sandhya.
Yes, Sandhya.
Yeah, kind of a follow-up to that. So, Carla, did you ever you saying you don't use it? So my fear would be that I would accidentally answer a call that I didn't want to talk to, just nodding or shaking your head. It's like, I guess it has to be a very deliberate motion, I guess. So
I think it does. Yeah, I think you have to be quite definite in how you do it. But yeah, it's, as I say, I've generally got other AirPods and glasses or whatever on when I'm doing calls or whatever. So like I say, it's not something I've used, but I think it when I did experiment with it, you had to be quite definite in what you wanted.
okay. Because that could be pretty terrifying if you didn't realize and then somebody there is there that you forgot that they were there or didn't know they were there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Carla. Great job. Thank you.
Carla, I did have a question. Have you had any issues with these AirPods falling off when you go outside the house? That's my biggest fear is going to drop it and then not be able to find it.
I did have one time I was in the tea room at work and I somehow pinged it out of my ear. And that's when I used the FindMy and found it that way. You can get the silicone straps from Amazon and they will also fit onto the AirPod Pro stems as well. The downside to that, of course, is it does fit over the control where you swipe down and up and so on. So that might be a little bit inconvenient, but if you can sort of push it up far enough, it's one good way of stopping if your AirPod did fall out, you're not going to drop it. So if you can squish it up to the AirPod body, then you can still use your AirPod controls. So I would recommend trying that and see whether that helps minimize any risks of AirPods dropping out of your ears and losing them.
But on a normal day when you go to work while you're wearing them, had any issues falling off then?
I haven't, no.
Oh,
And
that's great.
I've walked with them outside and they haven't fallen out. So maybe I'm just lucky.
Any questions?
This is Innie.
Go ahead, Annie.
Ladon.
Okay, go ahead, Annie, and then we'll go to Ladon.
Just to let you know, Sree, I noticed I have a very small ears and they took me a while to get adjusted for them not to keep falling out. But I learned that before I put them in, I always take like a tissue and dry my ear really, really so, and then I stick them in. And after a few hours, sometimes I take them out and I do that again. And really, it works when I go out. Sometimes I forget they are in my ear because I'm just going on and doing it. If they really set up in there good, then you don't even notice them. And I've been quite lucky. And I do agree. I have one bit on one ear, one side, and on my left ear is the other side because I noticed with this medium one, it was hurting me. So I switched to a different tip and it's a lot better. But really makes, if you get them good, and because sometimes I think the moist and sweat, whatever, when they are in for a while, they get a little loose. But if you take them out now and then and dry, and they will not fall out. They'll stay in for that was a problem when I had at the beginning. Thank you very much, Carla. It's been wonderful. I have two pairs, both Pro, second generation. One, it's the older one. Because the first one I dropped and it got ran in the parking lot. So one of them worked, one of them doesn't work. So I got a second pair. But I learned from using them how to be better on not letting them fall, just what it takes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And that's a really good tip, actually. Yeah.
Thank you. Ladon, what's your question?
Yeah, I have my earbuds in and I want to use my Ray-Ban glasses. Do they work? Do the glasses work? Or do you have to take them out to use glasses?
No, you could put the glasses on and still keep the AirPods in if you wanted to. What you might find is a little bit of a fight between Bluetooth devices. So you might find that the Ray-Ban stuff will come through the Ray-Bans, but your music will still come through the AirPod Pro 2s. So it depends what you want. Some people have used them like that for things like navigation and had one Bluetooth part through your glasses and one Bluetooth part through your AirPod Pro 2s. I've never done that particularly, but it can be done if you wish to.
Thank you. Who's next?
This is Greg.
Go ahead, Greg.
Came in late, so I don't know if you guys talked about the little cleaning tool for your AirPods. My wife just ordered one of those, and I haven't had a chance to try it, but she says it's really cool. Where on one end is the little thing to clean the connection in the case, and then the other end sounds like a little bit of a scraper to scrape the tips of the AirPods. And I think it was only $8 or $10, or it's pretty cheap.
Greg, did you get it from Amazon or some other company?
I think she got it from Amazon. Apple sells them, but I think you can get them on Amazon a little less expensive.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions on today's presentation? If there's no other questions, we'll call it an evening. I just want to say, Carla, thank you so much for this amazing presentation. I really enjoyed it. I'm sure a lot of us got new ideas how to use the hearing aid, as well as some of the features that you mentioned. This was great. It's a very popular device. I want to also thank Julie, who was our Zoom conference manager, letting people in, and Sandhya for helping me in the background.
Good night, everyone, and thank you for having me.
And I look forward to seeing everyone next month. We're doing a very interesting application on our iPhone that is very popular. So come next month to our iBUG Cafe.